Hi everybody, welcome to the channel and welcome if you are new. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at my completed pages for June and July. I didn't get a chance to film at the end of June with my completed pages, so I thought I'd do a joint video today. So we've got quite a few pages to share with you guys. So I'll go ahead and move this pile out the way and we'll get started. So the first one that I've got is in Johanna Basford's book, Small Victories. And in this book, I decided to do the little tortoise or turtle. So this little page here. So this one was a lot of fun to do. They're only small pictures, so they don't take a lot of time to colour in, which is always great if you're busy with work and things like that. So for this one, I wanted to do like a pastel sort of tones to most of the picture. So I used the Brute Fern and Macaroon pencils and did obviously the shell of the turtle and all of these sort of flowers and greenery. And then I also just used a really light green and light pressure and went around and added this background in and then filled in some dots with some darker coloured greens and a bit of white gel pen. So I'll just bring it up so that you guys can see a little bit clearer, but as you can see I've just added some dots in the background to break it all up. And then for the tortoise or the turtle's body, I used the Art Deco pencils because I didn't have any sort of brown colours in the macaroon pastel sets. So I just wanted to make that look a little bit different to his shell. But yeah, that was all I used. So just a couple of Arteza pencils for his body, and then the rest was all Brute Fern and Macaroon and a little bit of white gel pen. So that's the first picture. Then next I did one in Disney's Art Deco by Hatchet Heroes. I've done quite a few in this book already, but decided to come back to it. I think I did this one in July, not that one. Where's it gone? Aha, there we go. Found it in the end. So for this one, I used the Castle Art pencils to do little baby Simba there. He came out quite cute, I think. Quite nice colours, and they blended quite well on this paper as well. And then for the background, I used some Neo 2 water soluble crayons. So I used them to do the sunshine, and inside of these boxed areas was all the Neo 2s. And then this sort of like corally colour in the background, so in between all of the boxes, was an acrylic paint marker. I wanted to use that because I wanted to use sort of like orangey and sort of yellowy colours, and I had this paint marker colour and I thought that would go really nice with the Neo 2s that I'd used. But I think it came out quite nice. I was going for quite a bright, hot looking background, and I think that came out quite well on this picture. And then I just used some white gel pen to add some highlights into his eyes and to go around all of the sort of black lines in the background, just so that they wasn't black. I thought they'd look better in white. But this one didn't take very long and it was a lot of fun to colour. I really enjoyed that one. So that's that page. And next I've got one from Rita Berman's book. This is her 4 Seasons book. I think I did this one in July as well. Yeah, I did, yeah. So this one was a finished page for July. So I did a double page spread. Make sure that you guys can see everything. So for this one, I used the Artex pencils. I think it's 126 that, I think that's what it is. To do all of the ocean and the sand and the houses. And then I used some Neo 2s just to do this sort of blue sky in the background. So it's just a nice pale blue sky on both pages. And I tried to use as many different colours as I could for the little houses, just so that they were all different and sort of stood out on their own. I used some white gel pen to go over all of the little waves in the water, and for this little glass jug and the glass of lemonade on the table. Sorry, just knocked the stand. There we go, stop. And also to outline the clouds as well, to make them look a little bit more like clouds. But that's everything that I used on this page, and I was really happy with how it came out. I don't normally do double pages, but I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun to colour. I think it's just because you get to use so many different colours and, you know, do the houses whatever colours you want to do. So that was this page. So now moving on to the slightly bigger books. This one is Love Stories Disney by Hatchet Heroes again. This one I did in June. I did Peter Pan and Wendy. I haven't done many in here, to be fair. I think I've done about 2 pictures in this book. So this is the picture that I chose to do. And luckily I found an image online, and it was the exact same picture as this. So I used the image that I found to work out like colours and things. So like in the picture there was a blue cushion here, and it was blue carpet with pink and grey wallpaper. So I tried to get the colours to match as best as possible. For this one I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. So I've recently got the 100 set, and I'm really enjoying using them. I got some nice shading and some sort of details in there with the pencils, so I was quite happy with their performance. And then other than that, I used some white gel pen to go around the little wooden decor here, make that look a bit more like white wood, and some gold gel pen to go over Tinkerbell's fairy dust, which is sort of all over the background here. And I went round her wings with the gold gel pen as well, and then filled in the middle with a glitter acrylic paint pen just to give them a little bit of sparkle. Hopefully that will pick up on camera. So she's got some nice sparkly wings. But yeah, I was quite pleased with how this one came out. I think the colours were quite close to what the picture was online, so I was happy with that. And I think that's everything that I used on there as well. So yeah, white gel pen, gold gel pen, and Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. But yeah, I was pleased with this one. Then I did one in Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlzon. So this book I haven't done many pictures in. I think I've done the sort of very first one and maybe 1 or 2 in here, but not many. Yes, I've done that one. So I came back and decided to do this page with the lovely sort of perfume bottles or potion bottles. I'm not sure what you'd call them. So this one was, again, a lot of fun to do. I used the Arteza pencils to colour in this pink bottle and the green bottle, and also inside this yellow bottle here. This sort of smoke coming away from that yellow bottle, I used the Neo 2 crayons, sorry. The Neo 2 soluble water crayons to do that. So I did like a yellow going into an orange into a red, and I thought that came out quite nice. I was quite happy with how it blended. So what I decided to do was to do the background with the Neo Colour 2s as well, and I did like dark blue around the edges and then a purple in the middle, but it really didn't come out very well. I don't know what I did wrong, but it didn't look very good. So I ended up going over the background with a black paint just to sort of get rid of the mess that I'd made underneath. Yeah, and then I added some gold stars onto the black paint as well, just to break up the background and, you know, so it's not all black. But yeah, I kind of had to do it because I tried to do it with the Neo 2s and it just looked awful. So I thought, right, I'll just paint it black and just start again. But it does kind of make the perfume bottle stand out a little bit better. So, you know, I'm not 100% happy with the background, but I think it's quite nice overall as a finished result. So yeah, that was that one. And then I used some gold pen on some of the little details on the potion bottles and some white gel pen as well. And I think that's pretty much everything that I used on this one. But yeah, this one was quite a nice page to colour. Like I say, I did mess up on the background, so it was like trying to fix it then. But I think we got there in the end. It doesn't look too bad. So that's that one. And then I decided to do one from Romantic Country. This is the second tale by Erie. Again, I haven't done very many pages in this book. I think I've possibly done 1 or 2. I think I've got so many books now that it's just... oh, actually, I don't think I've done any in here. So this is the page that I decided to do. So as you can see, it's a lovely underwater scene with a little shipwrecked boat under there. So for this one, I used the Art Deco watercolours to do like a base on most of the picture. So all this sort of green and blue and the boat and all the sand and all of these sort of pink underwater plants, I used the Art Deco watercolour pencils to do just the initial coat on there. Then I went in with the Brute Furnace square pencils and added in some shadows and some details to these little objects and filled in the fish as well with the Brute Furnace square pencils. I used a bit of white gel pen to go over all of the black lines that were in the sea and try and make it look a bit more like the ocean. So instead of having sort of black lines through there, I went over and made them white. I used a bit of gold gel pen to fill in these little gold details here. And I think that was everything that I used on there. But what was different for me was using the watercolours as a base and then going in with pencils on top. But it worked quite well. As long as you've got a very similar colour to what you've used, you can blend it out quite easily. And with the Brute Furnace square pencils, they're very nice pencils to work with. And there's quite a few different colours in there to choose from as well. So just picking a shade close to what you've already used is always a good idea. And then I added in some little dots into the sand with some acrylic paint pens. So I've got like a dark brown and like a yellowy orange colour. And just added in some texture into the sand. So hopefully you guys can see that on camera. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun to do. It did take quite a while, so it's quite a big page, but I really enjoyed doing this one. And I think the boat came out really nice. And I just used watercolour for the boat. I didn't add any sort of pencil shading, just sort of used a bit more pigment where I wanted it to be slightly darker. So yeah, I was quite happy with how that one came out. And then I decided to do one in Teresa Goodridge's book, Gnome Sweet Gnome. And this is a super cute book. And again, I haven't done many pictures in here. So I decided to come back to this one. And I did this page. So it's another sort of like summary page. Obviously, with it being a bit more warmer these past few weeks, I decided to do a lot more summer pages. So here we've got a little gnome snorkeling underwater. I'll bring it up so that you guys can see. So for this one, I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils again. I used the Art Deco watercolours. So what I did was I went in, I don't know if I used any markers. I did, I used alcohol touch markers. So I didn't write that down for some reason, but I definitely used markers on here. So I used the markers to do a base on the sand and all of these sort of green leaves in the background. And then I went in with the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils and added some shade into all of the sand and all of these leaves. These octopuses and fishes were done with just the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils, and the same for the fish and the little turtle at the top. Then I went in with the white gel pen and went over his beard to make that look more sort of white. And with the watercolour paint, I just went over him and his beard with the blue so that his beard and his skin was slightly tinted blue, so it looked like he was underwater. I did the same for this fish here, just went over it with the watercolour paint to make it look like it was underneath the water. And then just added some white gel pen up here to the sort of top of the water where it meets the sky. But yeah, this one was quite a quick page to do, and it was a lot of fun to colour as well, getting to use lots of different sort of mediums. So that's the good thing about these single-sided pages, is that you can use sort of any mediums. You don't have to worry about it bleeding through onto the next picture. So that was that one. Next, I've got one from Fairy Tale Princesses and Storybook Darlings by Hannah Lynn. So this one was actually a whip in May's finished pages, and I showed you guys sort of how far I'd got on it. So as you can see, I managed to get it finished in June. So I'll bring it up so that you guys can see a little bit better. So for this one, I used the Touch alcohol markers, and I did like a base on all of this greenery and all of these sandy bits here and the mountains. And then I went in with, was it the Arteza? Artex. So I used the Artex pencils on top of that to add in some shadows and some details. And then I used a white gel pen to go over the water here, just to make that look a bit more realistic. And then here where the water sort of splashes at the bottom, I used the white gel pen to go around that as well and make it look a bit more like smoke or steam coming off the water. And then what I did for the mermaids, the ones that are in the water, I did the same technique for what I did in the Gnome Sweet Gnome book. So I coloured all of this in, used alcohol markers as a base, and then went in with the Artex to give it some shadows and things. And then I just painted the blue watercolour paint over the top of them, so they've got a slight blue tinge so that it looks like they are actually under the water. And then I just used a white gel pen to go over all the black lines that were in the water as well, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I think that was everything that I used. Oh, I used a glitter paint pen to do this little pink border around the edge. So that was that one. But it's quite a nice picture. I was quite happy with how it turned out in the end. And the good thing with this book is that you actually get two of the same. So, you know, if you're not happy with it, you can always try again on the next one, which is brilliant. So that's that page. And then I've got one in Disney Les Grands Classiques. I think that's how you pronounce it. So these are the colour by number books. They're a lot of fun to do because you don't have to think about colours or anything like that. You just literally follow the numbers and fill in the spaces. So this is the one that I decided to do. I think she came out rather good. I used the acrylic paint pens for this. I did say I was going to try one with pencils, but I just haven't got around to doing it yet. And it's quite fun to use the acrylic pens as well. I do quite enjoy just sitting there mindlessly using them and following the numbers. So it's always good fun. So this is how it came out. I'll show you at the back that you have like these little pictures to sort of show you what it should look like. So see if I can find it. So that's what it should look like. And then that's what mine came out like. So I don't think they're too far away from each other. I think I got it quite close. So I'm quite happy with this one. And like I say, they're just a lot of fun to do. So that was that one. And then last but not least, I've got one in Dreamlings 2. I think this is Edwina McNamie's book. Pretty sure I found her name in here somewhere before. Yes, Edwina McNamie. So I did get it right. So this is the page that I completed in here. So again, this one was a whip from May's finished pages. I think I'd done like a base with alcohol markers on all of the houses and mushrooms, and I'd used the Inktense pencils to do like a green to lighter green to blue to darker blue in the background. So I went in with the Cause pastel pencils and added some shadows and some dimension into the flowers and all these little houses. And then I used some Black Widow pencils to add this little grass detail in at the bottom, just to make it look a bit more like grass. And then the only other thing that I used on here was some white gel pen to go over the little dots and add some highlights and go around the little clouds and things like that. But I was quite happy with how this page turned out. It's not the best colouring that I've ever done, but it was just a fun picture to do. And again, this is single-sided, so you can use whatever medium you want and you don't have to worry about the page behind, which is great. So yeah, that was everything that I coloured this month and the month before. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.